We're going to show how to use Excy in the unicycle position. And we always have to have the pin is out and it's in its lowest position all the way down. Okay. But let's talk about, putting me on here with the right foot position.
We'd say maybe for the more advanced user, the right foot position would be similar to that of a bicycle position, where our first metatarsal, if we bring our foot up to the tall position, we can just see this a little better for the camera. Our first metatarsal head is forward of the pedal spindle right there. So that's going to be, we'd say, for the more advanced position. If we have the middle of the foot right there, that's probably going to be a little easier, safer for the beginner.
Okay.
Because,
let's show beginner.
Yeah, so beginner, let's start out with the
and
foot.
Holding on to something, door frame, walking poles, something, a desk, stand-up desk.
Trekking poles.
Trekking poles are great. That's how I like to use it. But coming up here and something to hold on to.
So middle of the foot person will probably feel a little more stable. When we bring the foot a little farther back, that's a longer lever arm, if you will, if we want to talk physics.
Okay.
And so it's a little more difficult to control, requires a little greater strength in the calf and the foot. And that's not a bad thing. That we talked earlier about what's appropriate stimulus and what's inappropriate stimulus. If you don't have the strength to go up on toe, that position may not be your best position to be metatarsal head just for the pedal spindle. If I can't go up on toe, then more middle of the foot over the pedal is probably a better starting position.
Okay. And in terms of, my personal preference is to crouch down a little bit, and then with backwards, going backwards and starting backwards and getting a feel for it, and a lighter resistance forward. But it is definitely, as you crank the resistance up, going forward is a little bit more difficult.
Yeah. So probably when we talk about a beginner's use of this in this manner, if we start out at what we'll call the 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock position, which is foot forward, foot back, we can do just light oscillations just forward and back. And that's a really nice little exercise stimulus for legs and trunk.
This is such a great...
That's the burner, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
And then once you get tired of that, then switch it so that your right foot is forward, and then just go forward and back right in through there. And you'll definitely feel that in those quads, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you feel your trunk working, too, to balance that position. And then from there, you can then start to think about pedaling fully through the pedal stroke. And as you said earlier, the backwards motion is easier than the forwards motion. Forward kind of gets you this feeling like, I'm going to fall off the edge of the earth a little bit. But if your control is good, of which this can train you, then it's a reasonable stimulus.
Let's talk about resistance at this, okay? Because 70 pounds of resistance, you crank this up, and get back on, and again, getting used to it, you really have to push and pull through those.
So that's where holding on, partially this resistance will be a function of your body weight. So if you don't weigh very much, then when we crank this down, it really takes a lot of pushing. And so that's where holding on to something to counterbalance and to help, like bicycle, we can only push as hard as we are connected to the bike. If I'm riding a unicycle, I can only push so hard because I'm not connected other than on my feet. If I have something to hold on to counterbalance and counter pull, then it allows me to push harder through here, which allows me to work at a higher work rate through the legs.
Great, perfect. What are some athletic, things that people like to do? Cycling, motocross, mountain biking, whatever, that you feel like this could benefit?
Well, not everyone's super comfortable standing on a bicycle, right? So that's one, as much as you would think that would be a basic skill that most people can do, not a lot of, people have difficulties with it. So this would be a nice way, it's definitely a nice way of training that experience, of having that feel of what it is to be
on a bike,
alternating front to back and getting the motion through. So definitely with our mountain biking, particularly in technical riding, if you're coming down through a section of real tough terrain, you're not on the saddle. You're out of the saddle, holding on for dear life with the handlebars, and our feet are usually at this 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock position. Your preference, right foot forward, left foot forward, that's your preference. But in going down through that field, you're taking the shots, reacting to the ground through the feet and pedals. And so having something like this allows you that strength and stability training, as well as using the trunk, or the core if you want to call it, the trunk, stomach and back muscles, to stabilize against that alternating push-pull against the feet.
Perfect. Perfect. It's become one of my favorites.